Chapter 1. The Life Before. Quinn McIntyre had spent 15 years documenting the darkest corners of human nature. As an award-winning true crime documentary filmmaker, he'd interviewed serial killers, exposed corrupt officials, and brought justice to cold cases the police had abandoned. His latest project, The Vanishing Point, about disappearances in national parks, had just premiered at Sundance to standing ovations. Yet for all his expertise in recognizing deception, he'd missed the lies sleeping beside him every night. Quinn's marriage to Mercedes had always seemed solid, if increasingly distant. They'd met 12 years ago at a gallery opening in Santa Fe. She was a rising art dealer with ambitions that matched his own. No kids, by mutual agreement. Their careers came first. She traveled frequently for gallery acquisitions. He disappeared for months, filming in remote locations. It worked, or so he thought. That Tuesday started normally. Quinn was in his home studio in Taos, reviewing footage for his next project with his longtime producer and best friend, Sam Hardy. Sam had been with him since film school, a stocky man with a sharp wit and sharper instincts. "You seeing Mercedes tonight?" Sam asked, not looking up from the editing timeline. "She's in Albuquerque. Gallery business. Back Thursday." Quinn frowned at a shot that wasn't quite right. "Why?" Sam hesitated. "Nothing. Just you guys doing okay." Quinn finally looked up. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Forget it. None of my business." But Sam's jaw was tight, his eyes avoiding Quinn's. They'd been friends too long for Quinn not to notice. "Sam, look, I probably saw wrong. Last week at the Sagebrush, I thought I saw Mercedes with some guy. Looked close, but it was dark, and I'd had a few beers. Could have been anyone." Quinn's phone rang before he could respond. Unknown number. He almost declined, but something made him answer. "Mr. McIntyre? This is Officer Marcia Holden with Albuquerque Police Department. Your daughter's been arrested. She's asking for you. You need to come down to the station immediately." Quinn's blood went cold. "I'm not married with kids. I don't have a daughter." "Sir, she has your photograph in her wallet. Multiple photos actually, from different years. She's very distressed and insists you're her father. She's 19 years old. Can you please come down? We're holding her on drug possession charges, but something feels off about this whole situation." Quinn's mind raced through possibilities: a scam, mistaken identity, something more sinister. His documentary instincts kicked in. "What's her name?" "Erica Barrera. Ring any bells?" "No, but I'll be there in 90 minutes. He hung up and met Sam's concerned gaze. "We've got a problem." Chapter 2. The Interrogation Room. The Albuquerque Police Department's fluorescent lights buzzed overhead as Officer Holden led Quinn through sterile corridors. Sam had insisted on coming, and Quinn was grateful. Something about this felt choreographed, staged, like the false confessions he'd documented in The Innocent Project. "Before you go in," Officer Holden said, stopping outside interview room 3, "you should know she's been here 3 hours. She won't talk to anyone but you. The drugs were found in her car during a traffic stop, significant amount, enough for distribution charges. But her story's strange. She keeps saying she was meeting her father, that you'd finally agreed to see her after years of denying her existence." Quinn's jaw tightened. "I've never seen this person before in my life." Officer Holden studied him with cop eyes that had seen every lie. "Your wife know about any of this?" "My wife is in Albuquerque on business." The words came out harder than he intended. "She's an art dealer. Mercedes Cisneros McIntyre." Something flickered across Holden's face. "Cisneros? Any relation to the Cisneros Gallery on 4th Street?" "That's her gallery." "What?" "No reason. Let's go meet your daughter." The door opened, and Quinn's world tilted. The girl was 19, maybe 20. Dark hair, lighter than Mercedes's, but with the same wave. Hispanic features, delicate bone structure. And her eyes, hazel with gold flecks, were exactly like his mother's. His dead mother, who'd passed 5 years ago. She looked up, mascara streaked down her face, handcuffs clinking against the table. "Daddy." Quinn felt Sam's hand on his shoulder, steadying him. He approached the table slowly, every instinct screaming this was a setup. But for what? "I'm Quinn McIntyre," he said carefully. "Officer Holden says you have photos of me." Erica's face crumpled. "Don't do this. Please. Mom said you'd deny it, but I hoped." She fumbled with her belongings on the table, pulling out a worn leather wallet. Inside were photos, Quinn at various ages, some he recognized from old social media posts, others that looked professionally shot from a distance. Surveillance photos. Where did you get these? Mom gave them to me. She said you abandoned us when she was pregnant, that you paid her to disappear. But I just wanted to meet you, to know my father. Then last month, someone called me, said you changed your mind, wanted to meet. Gave me an address here in Albuquerque. Her voice broke. The drugs, I swear I didn't know they were in the car. Someone must have planted them. This was a setup. But why would you? I am not your father, Quinn said, but doubt crept in. The photos, her eyes, the timing. Who's your mother? Dolores Barrera. You met her in Los Angeles in 2005. She was a set designer. Quinn's memory flickered. 2005, he'd been in LA filming his first documentary. There'd been people, parties, late nights. But I never met anyone named Dolores Barrera. She said you knew her as Dee Blake. The name hit like a fist. Dee Blake. He remembered her. A brief, drunken weekend during his wild, early 20s. They'd lost touch. He'd never known. Did you get a paternity test? Sam interjected. Erica shook her head. Mom always said you'd use lawyers to make it go away. But she has photos too, of you two together. Officer Holden cleared her throat. Mr. McIntyre, we can arrange a DNA test. But right now, I'm more interested in who called this girl and set up this meeting. Erica, you have the number? Erica showed her phone. A burner number, untraceable. The text messages were carefully worded, claiming to be from a lawyer representing Quinn, saying he wanted to finally acknowledge his daughter, arranging this meeting. Quinn's documentary instincts crystallized. This is an elaborate frame. Someone wanted us both here, wanted this connection established in police records. Officer Holden, I want that DNA test, but I also want to see the traffic stop report. Who called it in? What was the probable cause? Chapter 3, The First Crack. The traffic stop report told the story. An anonymous tip called in describing Erica's car, claiming the driver was intoxicated. The responding officer found her pulled over, crying, trying to call the number that had gone dead. A search revealed 2 ounces of cocaine hidden in the spare tire well, more than personal use, enough for intent to distribute. Sam was pacing the police station lobby while they waited for the DNA test results. Quinn sat motionless, his mind assembling pieces. Someone went to extraordinary lengths to create this situation. The photos, the fake mother story, planting the drugs. Want to destroy you, Sam said bluntly. Think about it. Documentary filmmaker caught meeting secret teenage daughter, drugs found, your career implodes. Or, he stopped pacing. They wanted leverage. Blackmail. Quinn's phone buzzed. Mercedes, how's the editing going? Miss you. Home tomorrow night instead of Thursday. EXO. He stared at the message, Sam's words from earlier echoing. I thought I saw Mercedes with some guy. Sam, that man you saw Mercedes with. Could you identify him? Maybe. Dark hair, 40s, sharp dresser. They were in a back booth, very cozy. Officer Holden emerged. DNA test is expedited. We'll have results in 48 hours. But Mr. McIntyre, I pulled some strings with a contact at the lab. They can tell within 90 minutes if there's any chance of paternity. Won't hold up in court, but it'll give us a preliminary answer. 2 hours later, Quinn had his answer. 0 genetic match. Erica Barrera was not his daughter. When they told her, Erica's face went white. But Mom said, all those years, she told me. Then anger hardened her features. That bitch. She lied to me my whole life. Erica, Quinn said gently, I think your mother was lied to as well. Or paid. Who is your real father? Derek Ariano. He's been around since I was little. Mom always said he was just her boyfriend. But if you're not, her eyes widened with realization. Oh my God. He set this up. He asked me weeks ago about meeting my real father, got me excited about it. He must have put those photos in my wallet. Must have. Quinn's phone buzzed again. This time, a text from an unknown number with a photo attachment. His blood ran cold. The photo showed him and Erica in the interrogation room, their heads close together, her hand on his. The angle made it look intimate, damning. The message read, $500,000 in Bitcoin, or this goes public with a story about the famous documentarian and his teenage mistress. You have 48 hours. Sam grabbed the phone. Jesus Christ. But Quinn was already moving, his mind shifting from victim to hunter. Officer Holden, I need to file a report about extortion. And then, he looked at Sam. We're going to make a documentary. A very specific documentary about whoever's behind this. Quinn, we should call Cliff Lucero, get your lawyer involved. We will. But first, I need to know something. He turned to Erica, who was staring at the blackmail photo in horror. This Derek Ariano. What does he do for a living? He's an art dealer. Works with high-end collectors, private sales. She paused. He does a lot of business with some fancy gallery owner. A woman. I've seen her at the house a few times. Pretty, well-dressed. Mercedes something. The room went silent except for the fluorescent buzz overhead. Quinn's voice, when he spoke, was ice. Mercedes Cisneros. Sam swore softly. Officer Holden's expression shifted to grim understanding. Mr. McIntyre, I think you need to tell me everything about your wife. Chapter 4. The Paper Trail. Quinn didn't go home that night. Instead, he checked into a hotel under Sam's name and started digging. If Mercedes and this Derek Ariano were working together, there would be evidence. There always was. Sam arrived at midnight with Cliff Lucero, Quinn's attorney, a silver-haired man who'd helped Quinn navigate legal issues for 3 documentaries. Cliff had also brought someone else, a woman in her 40s with sharp eyes and a no-nonsense demeanor. This is Major Cobb, Cliff said. Retired FBI, now runs a private investigation firm. She specializes in financial crimes. Major shook Quinn's hand with a grip that could crush bones. Cliff filled me in on the drive over. Your wife and her boyfriend tried to frame you with a fake daughter and drug charges, then pivoted to blackmail. That's ambitious and sloppy. They'll have made mistakes. I need to know everything, Quinn said. How long has this been going on? What's their endgame? Major opened her laptop. Already pulled some preliminaries. Derek Ariano, 42, art dealer with a spotty reputation. Been accused twice of selling forged pieces, charges dropped both times. He and Mercedes Cisneros started doing business together 3 years ago. But she pulled up bank records that made Quinn's stomach sink. They've been doing more than business. The records showed regular transfers between their accounts, shared expenses, hotel reservations together in cities where Mercedes had claimed to be traveling alone. The affair had been going on for at least 2 years. There's more, Major continued. 6 months ago, Derek purchased a life insurance policy on you, Quinn. $2 million, with Mercedes as beneficiary. He used a shell company, but I traced it. Sam's face went pale. They were going to kill him. Maybe. Or have him declared mentally incompetent. That's where this setup gets interesting. Major pulled up more documents. 3 months ago, Mercedes made an appointment with Dr. Olin Swanson, a psychiatrist who specializes in competency evaluations. She claimed she was worried about your mental health, wanted to know the process for getting someone evaluated. Quinn felt the room tilt. She was building a case to have me committed. Exactly. The fake daughter story, the drugs, the emotional breakdown they expected you to have. It would all paint a picture of a man losing his grip on reality. Mercedes could have you declared incompetent, take control of your assets, your work, everything. You disappear into a psychiatric facility. She and Derek liquidate your holdings, and they vanish. Cliff leaned forward. But something changed their plan. Quinn, what happened 6 months ago? Any big financial changes? Quinn thought back. I signed a deal with Netflix. $15 million for exclusive rights to my next 5 documentaries, plus back catalog. The money hit my account in August. That's it, Major said. They saw the payday and accelerated their timeline. But they got greedy and sloppy with the blackmail angle. That was Derek's touch, I'd bet. Mercedes is smarter than that. So what do we do? Sam asked. Go to the police with all this. Quinn shook his head slowly, a cold certainty settling over him. No, we do what I do best. We document everything. We let them think their plan is working, and we capture every moment of their conspiracy. Then we destroy them, legally and publicly. Major smiled like a shark. I was hoping you'd say that. Chapter 5, The Long Con. The next morning, Quinn called Mercedes. His voice was shaky, deliberately unstable. Mercedes, something happened. Something terrible. I need you to come home. Please. She arrived within 3 hours, her concern perfectly performed. Quinn watched her through the hidden camera Sam had installed in their living room, recording everything. Sweetheart, what's wrong? You sounded so upset on the phone. She touched his face with practiced tenderness. Quinn let his voice crack. The police called yesterday. There's a girl, a teenager, claiming I'm her father. Mercedes, I swear I didn't know. It was before we met. I barely remember the woman. And now there are drugs involved and blackmail, and he broke down, letting her hold him, feeling her satisfaction through the embrace. Oh God, Quinn. This is serious. We need to figure this out. Do you think you might actually be the father? I don't know. I can't remember. It was so long ago. I was drinking so much back then. What if I have a daughter I abandoned? What kind of person does that make me? He was channeling every documentary subject who'd ever lied to him, mirroring their false emotions perfectly. Mercedes pulled back, her face a mask of concern. We need to get you help. Professional help. I know someone, Dr. Swanson. He's very good with this kind of crisis. No doctors. I just need time to think. Quinn, you're not thinking clearly. Let me handle this. I'll call a lawyer, figure out the legal situation, and maybe just one session with Dr. Swanson to help you process. I said no. Quinn stood abruptly, knocking over a lamp. The crash made Mercedes flinch, and he saw the calculation in her eyes. She was documenting his instability, probably recording on her phone. Good. Let her think she was winning. That night, Quinn pretended to sleep while Mercedes made calls from the bathroom. Sam had planted bugs throughout the house days ago, and Quinn listened through an earbud to her whispered conversation with Derek. He's falling apart, exactly like we planned. I mentioned Dr. Swanson, and he freaked. We can probably move the timeline up. How's your end? Derek's voice was smooth, confident. The blackmail angle didn't work. He hasn't paid, but it doesn't matter. Eric is too scared to contradict our story now. I've got documentation of his erratic behavior from 3 different sources who'll testify he's been acting unstable for months. We can have him committed by the end of the week. And the money? Once he's declared incompetent, you'll have full access as his spouse. We transfer everything to offshore accounts, disappear to Costa Rica like we planned. 6 months from now, Quinn McIntyre is a crazy has-been, and we're living the good life. What about Erica? What about her? She doesn't know anything. She thinks her deadbeat dad finally surfaced and abandoned her again. She's collateral damage. Mercedes laughed softly, and Quinn's blood turned to ice. Poor Quinn. He was so obsessed with documenting everyone else's crimes, he never saw ours coming. The famous documentarian, undone by his own blind spots. There's poetry in that. Now come over. I need you. I can't. He's in the next room. Mercedes. You've been playing the devoted wife for 12 years. One more night won't kill you, but I might if you don't get over here. The threat in Derek's voice was unmistakable. Quinn heard Mercedes's sharp intake of breath, then her agreement. 20 minutes later, she was gone, claiming she needed to pick up supplies from the all-night pharmacy. Quinn opened his eyes in the dark. Sam emerged from the guest room where he'd been monitoring equipment. Got all of it, Sam said. Crystal clear audio of conspiracy to commit fraud and false imprisonment. Good. Now we move to Phase 2. Chapter 6. The Bait. Phase 2 required making Derek and Mercedes feel invincible. Over the next 3 days, Quinn played his part perfectly, increasingly paranoid, emotionally volatile, making public scenes that Sam and Major's team documented from every angle. He picked fights with colleagues, missed meetings, posted rambling social media rants that his team would later delete, but not before Mercedes and Derek saw them. Meanwhile, Major was building the real case. She'd tracked down Erica's mother, Dolores Barrera, who tearfully admitted Derek had paid her $50,000 to pose as Quinn's former lover and tell Erica he was her father. Dolores thought it was just a weird rich guy thing, wanting to play dad. She didn't know about the drugs or the frame-up. I would never have agreed if I'd known, Dolores sobbed. Erica's been hurt enough. Her real father died when she was 3. I just wanted her to have what I couldn't give her, a dad, a better life. Derek promised. Erica, now working with them, had agreed to wear a wire when Derek called her. The conversation was damning. You need to stick to the story, Derek told her. Quinn McIntyre is your father. He abandoned you. The drugs were his. If anyone asks, that's what you say. But the DNA test doesn't matter. By the time anyone looks closely, this will be over. You'll get your money like I promised. $10,000 for 1 week of commitment to the story. Don't blow this, Erica. What happens to him? To Quinn. He gets what he deserves. Now stop asking questions. On the 4th day, Quinn called Dr. Swanson's office and made an appointment, exactly as Mercedes wanted. She was delighted, thinking he'd finally broken. What she didn't know was that Major had already spoken to Dr. Swanson, showing him evidence of the conspiracy. The psychiatrist, outraged at being used in a scheme to falsely commit someone, had agreed to help. "I'll conduct a genuine evaluation," Dr. Swanson told Quinn. "And when I declare you completely sane and competent, their whole case collapses. But more than that, I'll testify to their attempt to manipulate a psychiatrist into false testimony. That's a serious crime." The appointment was set for Friday afternoon. Mercedes told Quinn she'd drive him, her concern touching. In reality, she'd already prepared commitment papers, planning to have him involuntarily hospitalized the moment Dr. Swanson declared him unstable, which she believed was guaranteed, having bribed the doctor's assistant to influence his report. What Mercedes didn't know was that the assistant had immediately reported the bribe attempt to Dr. Swanson, adding another charge to the growing list. Thursday night, Quinn met with his team one final time. The documentary was nearly complete. 3 days of footage, audio recordings, financial records, testimony from Dolores and Erica, Dr. Swanson's statement, everything meticulously organized. "Tomorrow, we end this," Quinn said. "But we do it smart. I want them arrested on camera. I want every moment documented. This documentary goes public the same day, so there's no way for them to spin the narrative." Cliff nodded. "I've coordinated with the DA. They're ready to move on conspiracy to commit fraud, false imprisonment, attempted extortion, forgery, and about 6 other charges." "But Quinn, are you sure about making this public? Your private life, your marriage, it'll all be exposed." "I've spent my career exposing the truth. Time to do it for myself." Quinn's jaw was set. "Besides, by the time I'm done editing this, the only people who look bad are the ones who deserve it." Sam clapped his shoulder. "That's my boy. Let's nail these bastards." Chapter 7. The Trap Springs. Friday afternoon arrived with crystalline New Mexico sunlight. Quinn dressed carefully, his hidden body camera recording everything. Mercedes drove, chatting about mundane things, her performance flawless. In her purse, Quinn knew, were the commitment papers and a syringe of sedative she'd gotten from a nurse friend, just in case Quinn resisted. Dr. Swanson's office was in a quiet professional building. Mercedes held Quinn's hand as they entered, her grip possessive. In the waiting room, Quinn spotted Sam pretending to read a magazine, tiny cameras hidden in his glasses and phone. Major was outside in a van with police, waiting for the signal. "Mr. McIntyre, you can come back," the receptionist called. "I'd like to come with him," Mercedes said quickly. "For support." Dr. Swanson appeared, his face professionally neutral. "Of course, Mrs. McIntyre. Family involvement is crucial." In the office, Dr. Swanson conducted a genuine psychiatric evaluation for 90 minutes. Mercedes grew increasingly agitated as Quinn answered every question clearly, rationally, showing no signs of instability. "Mr. McIntyre," Dr. Swanson finally said, "I see no evidence of mental illness, psychosis, or diminished capacity. You're processing a stressful situation with appropriate emotional responses and clear reasoning. There's absolutely no cause for commitment or concern about your competency." Mercedes's mask cracked. "That's impossible. He's been erratic, paranoid, violent. He's been none of those things, Mrs. McIntyre. At least, not in any clinical sense." Dr. Swanson's voice turned cold. "However, I am concerned about the attempt to bribe my assistant to falsify this evaluation. That's a serious matter." Mercedes went pale. "I don't know what you're—" "We have recordings," Quinn said quietly, pulling out his phone and playing the audio of her conversation with Derek. Her face as she listened was a study in rage and fear. "You bastard. You were faking it. This whole time." She lunged for her purse, presumably for the syringe, but Dr. Swanson was faster, blocking her access. "Mrs. McIntyre, I'd suggest you remain seated." Mercedes looked at Quinn with pure hatred. "You think you're so smart. You think you've won. But Derek and I have been planning this for years. You have no idea what we've put in place, what we can still—" "I know everything," Quinn interrupted. "I know about the affair, the offshore accounts, the forged insurance policy, the plot to have me committed. I know you paid Dolores Barrera to lie to her daughter. I know Derek planted drugs on Erica. I know about your plans to liquidate my assets and disappear to Costa Rica." He pulled out a tablet and showed her the documentary, 30 minutes of condensed footage showing every step of their conspiracy. Her own words condemning her, Derek's threats on recording, the money trails Major had uncovered, Erica's testimony, Dolores's confession. That's privileged. You can't use any of that. Actually, I can. I'm a documentarian. I documented a crime in progress. It's all perfectly legal. Quinn's smile was cold. By Monday, this premieres on Netflix as a special episode of my true crime series. The documentary, How a Husband Caught His Wife's Murder Plot. It's already generating Oscar buzz. Mercedes's hands trembled. This will destroy you too. Everyone will know that I was the victim of an elaborate fraud, that I fought back and won. Yes, they will. And they'll see you for exactly what you are. The door opened. Major walked in with 2 police officers. Mercedes Cisneros McIntyre, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit fraud, attempted false imprisonment, and extortion. As they cuffed her, Mercedes screamed at Quinn. Derek will make you pay for this. He has connections, money, ways to hurt you that you can't imagine. Derek's already in custody, Major said pleasantly. We picked him up 20 minutes ago. He's currently trying to cut a deal by blaming everything on you. Very loyal boyfriend you've got there. The fight drained out of Mercedes. As they led her away, she looked at Quinn one last time. I loved you once. In the beginning. No, Quinn said quietly. You loved what I could give you. There's a difference. Chapter 8. The dominoes fall. The arrests made local news within hours, but Quinn wasn't done. Over the weekend, he finished editing the documentary with Sam, crafting a narrative that was both personally devastating and absolutely compelling. They included everything. The fake daughter setup, the blackmail attempt, Mercedes's cold calculations, Derek's threats against Erica, the moment Mercedes tried to reach for the syringe. Sunday evening, Quinn held a private screening for select people. Erica and her mother Dolores, Officer Marcia Holden, Dr. Swanson, and Cliff Lucero. Also present was a figure Quinn had saved for this moment. His mentor, the legendary documentary filmmaker Lon Ponce, whose investigative work had inspired Quinn's career. This is your best work, Lon said after the screening, his gruff voice thick with emotion. But son, are you sure you want this public? Once it's out there, you can't take it back. Your private pain becomes entertainment. My private pain already is entertainment, Quinn replied. The difference is, now I control the narrative. And maybe someone else in my situation will see this and recognize the signs before it's too late. Erica approached him hesitantly. Mr. McIntyre, Quinn, I'm so sorry. If I'd known what Derek was really planning. You were victimized too, Quinn said gently. He lied to your mother, manipulated you, planted drugs on you. You're not responsible for his crimes. But I still played a part. Her voice broke. I wanted a father so badly that I didn't ask enough questions. I should have known it was too good to be true. That's what con artists do, Erica. They exploit our deepest needs. Don't carry guilt for being human. Quinn pulled out an envelope. This is a settlement from my insurance company. They're suing Mercedes and Derek for the fraud. Your portion is $50,000, enough for college. If you want it. Erica stared at the envelope, tears streaming. I don't deserve. You deserve a chance. Take it. Dolores pulled Quinn aside. You could have destroyed us in that documentary. Made us look like co-conspirators. But you showed the truth, that we were used. Why? Because the truth is what I do. And because mercy is underrated. Quinn paused. Also because your daughter has your eyes when she smiles. She deserves to keep smiling. Monday morning, Netflix released The Daughter Deception to their global platform. Within 6 hours, it was trending #1 worldwide. The response was overwhelming. Shock, outrage, sympathy for Quinn, and demands for justice. The legal system moved faster than usual, driven by public pressure and airtight evidence. Derek Ariano, true to form, tried to blame everything on Mercedes, claiming she'd manipulated him, threatened him, forced him into the scheme. The recordings proved otherwise. Mercedes, surprisingly, stayed silent on advice of her attorney. But her lawyer was fighting a losing battle. The evidence was overwhelming, documented in 4K resolution with crystal clear audio. Wednesday brought new revelations. Major's investigation had uncovered more victims. 2 other men Derek had scammed over the years using variations of the same con. Both had been too ashamed to report it. Now they came forward, adding their testimony to the case. Derek's a predator, Major told Quinn over coffee. He targets successful men with something to lose, reputation, career, family. Then he and whatever accomplice he's recruited create scenarios that compromise them. Sometimes it's blackmail, sometimes it's fraud, sometimes it's identity theft. You were his most ambitious target, and it's going to put him away for 20 years minimum. And Mercedes? 15 to 20. The DA wants to make an example. Using the psychiatric system to falsely imprison someone is particularly heinous. Plus, the attempted drugging with the syringe, that's assault with intent. Quinn felt no satisfaction, only a hollow ache where his marriage had been. I spent 12 years with her. How did I miss it? Because you're human. Because she was good at hiding it. Because love makes us blind. Major's expression softened. But you did something most people can't. When you saw the truth, you acted. You fought back smart, not emotional. You won. Did I? My marriage is destroyed. My private life is global entertainment. I'm known as the guy whose wife tried to have him committed. You're known as the guy who beat a sociopath at her own game. Major corrected. You're known as brilliant, resilient, and dangerous to cross. That's not nothing. Chapter 9, The New Beginning. The trial took place 3 months later. Quinn attended every day, documenting nothing, just watching justice proceed. Mercedes and Derek were tried separately, but their fates were linked. Erica testified, her voice steady as she described how Derek had manipulated her, planted drugs in her car, coached her to lie. Dolores testified about the money, the lies, the pressure. Dr. Swanson testified about the bribe attempt. Officer Holden testified about the orchestrated arrest. Sam testified about what he'd witnessed. Quinn's testimony was last. For 2 hours, he calmly explained how he'd uncovered the conspiracy, documented it, and brought it to justice. The defense attorneys tried to paint him as paranoid, manipulative, a man who'd set up his own wife. But the recordings spoke for themselves. Mercedes' own words. He was so obsessed with documenting everyone else's crimes, he never saw ours coming. The jury deliberated for less than 4 hours. Guilty on all counts for both defendants. At sentencing, the judge was harsh. Derek received 23 years in federal prison. Mercedes received 18 years, with a recommendation against early parole. You exploited the legal system, the medical system, and a young woman's desperate need for family, the judge told them. You attempted to destroy a man's life for profit. The sentences reflect the severity and premeditation of your crimes. As they led Mercedes away, she looked at Quinn one last time. No rage now, just empty defeat. Quinn felt nothing. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. Quinn had prepared a statement. Justice has been served, but this case represents something larger, a cautionary tale about trust, manipulation, and the importance of documentation. If my experience helps even one person recognize these patterns and protect themselves, then perhaps some good came from this nightmare. I'm grateful to everyone who helped bring the truth to light. The Albuquerque Police Department, particularly Officer Holden, my attorney Cliff Lucero, Investigator Major Cobb, my producer Sam Hardy, and especially Erica Barrera, who found the courage to testify against the man who'd manipulated her. As for my next project, I'm taking time to heal, to process, and to figure out who Quinn McIntyre is outside of this story. 3 months after the trial, Quinn sat in his Taos studio with Sam, reviewing footage for a new documentary, not about crime, but about resilience, about survival, about rebuilding. You sure about this direction? Sam asked. The true crime stuff made you famous. Famous isn't what I need right now. Whole is what I need. Quinn paused. Besides, I live the ultimate true crime story. Time for something different. His phone buzzed. A text from Erica. Finished my first semester at UNM. Made Dean's List. Thank you for believing in me. Also, Mom says hi and wanted me to tell you she's finally going to culinary school. We're both starting over. Thought you'd want to know. Quinn smiled and showed Sam. See? Good things can come from horrible situations. You going soft on me, McIntyre? No. Just learning that revenge is best served legally documented and publicly screened. Quinn pulled up a new project file on his computer. Now, let's talk about this documentary on the National Park Search and Rescue Teams. I've gotten in with a coordinator who says they've got stories that'll blow our minds. Sam grinned. Now that's the Quinn I know. Always looking for the next story. That's what I do, Quinn agreed. I document the truth, even when it's my own. Outside, the New Mexico sun painted the mountains in shades of gold and crimson. Somewhere, Mercedes and Derek were beginning their first year in separate prisons, their elaborate con now a cautionary tale in criminal justice classes. Erica was building a life free from lies. Dolores was pursuing her dreams. And Quinn McIntyre, documentarian, survivor, and unlikely hero of his own story, was moving forward, smarter, stronger, and fully aware that the best revenge was a life well lived, documented, and shared on his own terms. The daughter he'd never had led him to a truth he'd needed to find, that the most important story he'd ever tell wasn't about other people's crimes, but about his own survival. And that documentary had already won. This is where our story comes to an end. Share your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for your time. If you enjoy this story, please subscribe to this channel. Click on the video you see on the screen, and I will see you there.